Hello guys, and thank you for clicking on this video. If you watched some of my previous videos, you might notice a couple of differences in this one. First of all, yes, I'm playing a paladin. Amazing. I joined the ping gang, and I'll go into reasons as to why I've made paladin a little bit later, but I think if if you're following high level keys and stuff like that, I think it's pretty obvious, and you probably already know why, but I'll go into that a little bit later. I did not abandon my priest keys will still be done, and they are being done, and they will be uploaded, but I haven't done any notable key that I found worth uploading lately, so I don't want to upload keys that I have already done and uploaded, as I don't really see the point. Anyway, basically the reason why I even upload these videos is, as I've said in the description over and over again, I make sure that I always put there like a sort of like a disclaimer. These videos, they're not meant to be guides or tutorials or nothing of that sort. I might do something like that if anybody ever asks me to do some, but I don't consider myself to be that good to teach other people yet. I'm still myself in process of learning, but I do understand that people are a different level in this game, and it's a very complex game. And speaking of mistakes, like, you'll see me do a pretty big mistake soon here. So as you can see, like, tank kites down the stairs, he gets out of line of sight, I have to move, and I stop paying attention to where my positioning is, and I just end up dying here. So that's something, something to keep in mind. Like, there's always something you can improve, and obviously, synergy with your group matters a lot in these keys, as in raids, for that matter. You guys have to be on the same page and have to communicate and stuff like that. And here we had the pug tank. I'm not saying he did a good job. That is not his fault. He did what he thought he has to do. Even though kiting out of line of sight of your healer is never, I think, a correct play as a tank. But it is what it is. Like, maybe if we were on Discord, maybe he could have told me, yo, I have to run, follow me, and I would have popped, my horse and just came to him or something. But, it is what it is. Anyway, what I wanted to say is that the reason why I even upload these videos in the first place is I know there's a lot of players out there that are better than me and that are smashing this, and they're doing like 20s, 25s even at this point. But I feel like for the average player, seeing like the most optimal group and like playing with people that do like 10k DPS per pool, it doesn't provide as much as this. I'm gonna call it the bad gameplay, because these runs are gonna look much more like your pug runs. We got tank through LFG, rest are like 2 guildies and a friend, so this one is not in particular full of pugs, but most of my priest videos I actually do pug keys with them, and I usually take either 1 or 2 friends or guildies, and rest are usually pugs, and there is not I don't have a stable team, although I am looking for one. So if you maybe want to play, let me know in the comments, or whatever, DM me. There's a bunch of other info on my profile. But point is, I think these keys have value, because when I started playing, I'm new to retail. I played some older patches before, but I never played on retail before, and I was new. And I was looking for guidance, and when I looked at YouTube, I did not find any videos that show me how to play good, or any like gameplay videos where I could potentially copy what to do. And to be fair, patch was still fresh, so it makes sense that there wasn't that many videos. Like, people that were competitive, they were too busy pushing their own keys, or people that were really, really good, they were practicing for your tournaments, MDIs and whatnot, So just in general, I couldn't find any sort of guidance. And then once I got a little bit better, a lot of people ask me, how do you play this priest? Because this priest, is considered to be complicated allegedly and stuff like that. And it is. It's pretty complex, but it's a satisfying class to learn. So I decided to upload these videos, and then, I switched to Pala, and this Pala, he's under-geared. I think my eye level here is around 200. I don't even have that good conduits. I don't have legendary yet, and I'm Kyrian. And something to talk about here is Kyrian versus Ventir. I think dilemma for everybody who's making a paladin character. So the reason why I'm Kyrian is because last patch in which I played Holy Paladin was Wrath of the Lich King, and this class changed a lot. And I've read a lot about like what both spells do, and I just think for my purposes, since this character won't be raiding character, I am the only Disc Priest in my guild, so I need to play Disc Priest. And we also have other Holy Paladins, so they're not I'm not needed on Holy Pala. So basically, this character probably won't see raids in a while, unless there's some, you know, pug heroic raids, in which case it really doesn't matter which covenant you play. So I think if you're maining Holy Pala for your guild, you probably want to be Ventir, because Ventir is just better in the raid. But I'm doing some PvP with this character, and Kyrian is way better in PvP, and I also think it's really strong in M+. I think people underestimate how strong Divine Toll is. This spell is really strong. It's really good, and sure, Ashen Hollow is too, but Ashen Hollow is 4 minutes, and this is 1 minute, and 1 minute CD basically means you can use it almost every pool, and sometimes even twice per pool, and that has a lot of value in my mind. I'm not saying it's better than Ventir. I still think the most optimal min-maxy way of playing in a good group would be Ventir, for sure. But I think if you're a new paladin, and if you're not super comfortable with the class, and you know, you're just learning, you want to get better, you want to, you know, maybe you don't even have your Keystone master yet, or you know, you're playing with pugs a lot, I think Kyrian has more value there. But yeah, like as I said, this is a really fresh character. I think it's been like maybe a week and a half since it hit 60, so I'm still learning. I'm still really bad here. I make a lot of mistakes. There is a lot of like more optimal ways to play this class, but I still think it's somewhat alright, you know, for no legendary, no, like, you know, not even full renown character that has bad weapons, bad stats, low haste, you know. I still think it's alright. So here we're about to hit Pride, and as Disc Priest, one of my biggest struggles was learning how to deal with Prides as I push on keys higher and higher. Whereas, for example, I know for Ventir Paladin, Prides are a joke, because you can usually, on high keys, you just save Ashen Hollow for Prides, and you literally just solo it more or less without any sort of issues. But for me as Kyrian, it's a bit different. Obviously, as I said, like one advantage of Divine Toll definitely is the fact that you absolutely can afford to use this ability a lot more freely than Ashen Hollow, and you will have it for almost every pull. And here you can see, like, I'm trying to save Avenging Wrath. I use Divine Toll there. I didn't get that much out of it. Here I should have used the Glory, Word of Glory there to heal, but as I said, I'm still learning. I have a lot to learn. DK would have died there if he didn't. I don't know what killed him exactly. I think he probably used Hellstone or something, or Potion. But you know, he would have died there. I made a mistake. I did not have enough time to cast Holy Light, and I was being very stubborn there trying to cast it. So Um, this boss, nothing to talk about here, so like I'm not gonna comment on the full run. I'll try my best to, you know, say as much as I can. It's sort of like a commentary gameplay. Once again, not a guide, not a tutorial, just commenting on things that are happening and talking about things I could do better, which will help me understand as well, you know, how to become a better player. I also noticed here I'm even using wrong talents. There's no need for there's no real need for Rule of Law in M+, maybe, but I think it's really not worth it. I think you would get a much higher value out of talent like Unbreakable Spirit, for example. But yeah, I mean, you can run it. I don't think it's bad, I just don't think it's worth it, personally.
Just be trolls who be coming to ask for old one Sandy's help. All kinds be making deals with the lower adept. Like these two crazy little gnomes here. They both be hungry for power. So we were more than happy to oblige. But now,
and here we were joking on Discord earlier how I'm the only dead and like the run is going really smooth, so you know I don't want to be the only one that died, and you know my friend says, you know what, I gotcha, you know, and he just dies. So thanks Footage, you know, thank you for making me look better, you know, now I'm not the only death that happened throughout the entire dungeon, so you know, that's what friends are for, guys, to grieve together with you. But yeah, there's once again, there's not much to talk about here. There's gonna be an interesting moment in a bit that I do want to make a comment on, but right now there's not much to talk about. One interesting thing to note here is, since you're a melee healer, as somebody who learn these keys as a ranged, it's a really big change. It might seem like it doesn't matter, but it actually matters so much. There's so much more mechanics to watch out for as melee. It really opens your eyes and makes you sort of like I don't want to say admire, but sort of give a little bit more respect to melee players, since it really is different. I mean, obviously we're a bit different because we cast, right? We cast from melee, which is kind of, you know, weird. Here I made the mistake. He pushed him into Sanguine and I stun, and we basically heal him a lot, and we lost a lot of time here, but it doesn't matter. It's only 15. We're just trying to do weekly. It's not really, you know, it just happened to be a timed key, but we never really, you know, I mean, you always aim to time your keys, but you know, we were a bit skeptical. I wasn't sure how comfortable I will be on this paladin yet, and we had a pug tank, so it wasn't looking too promising, but we made it work. We made it work. Like, these guys, when they spin, they're very scary, and as you saw earlier, I almost died to one of them, because, you know, I realized, wait a minute, I'm melee now, you know? I have to watch out for whirlwinds, melee AoE, frontals. There's just way more things to watch out for as melee, so that's one disadvantage that you have as Holy Paladin compared to other healers, I would say. Well, other healers, all the ranged healers, I should say. Here, once again, not much to talk about. We just pass here and tank decides to pull both of these. It's a good pull, don't get me wrong, but I was a bit worried here because, as I said, once again, undergeared, no legendary. I feel very scuffed here and very uncomfortable, still a new character, still learning. So I was a bit nervous since it's fortified and we are, you know, we're not that rich on interrupts. We do have like DK and Monk, right? And we have my hammer, but we're not all on Discord, and it looked scary, but it actually looked pretty clean. At some point here I told them to stack up for Light of Dawn. I'm not sure if that's correct move or not. Since there's a lot of AoE going on and not a lot of single target damage, I just thought it's a good decision, and you know, most of them did except Mage, but you know, mages do mage things anyway. This pull, scary on Fortified, but I think it was pretty clean if I remember correctly. We'll see now in a second. I don't think anybody died here. I can't remember now, but I think it looked pretty clean. I'm low here, but I'm thinking, you know, I want to heal them, and I decide to bubble. Probably a waste of bubble, but I just wanted to be safe. These guys, I know they're very dangerous and unpredictable, and if they're not interrupted, they're very scary. So one more thing I could have done here is I could have used hammer. I don't think I end up using hammer by the end of this pull. I'm just kind of sort of still trying to get used to, you know, dealing damage in melee and healing at the same time. It's a little bit different than priest. Here, you know, annoying Quaking, like it's an easy affix, but it's so annoying sometimes, especially when you're trying to revive somebody and it just like interrupts you and locks you. Ugh, it's triggering. Here, big deal. We're just healing. We have, you know, we're chill. We have AMZ. We have everything. We have defensives, all of us, so we're just trying to save as much things as we can. Like I remember here I said on Discord to guys, like, I'm good, like no need to pop anything, save it for the next boss, because next boss can be a little bit tricky for groups that aren't super familiar with mechanics, but from what I remember, this boss ended up being pretty smooth for us. I do think that there's an actually situation where the bomb goes off, which is totally embarrassing, but you know, it happens. This is why I said, like, these videos, somebody might find them valuable because they're like the accurate representation of what might go on in your groups. Like, just lots of mistakes, lots of small misplays that, you know, they're not a big deal. They're on 15, they're not gonna wipe you, but going into hierarchies, these mistakes, you know, I sometimes like to think about it like this: what would happen if this was tyrannical? And you know, usually usually the answer is we would be dead. So you know, you always want to try and do your best and learn something. You know, if you do make a mistake, make sure you learn something from it. This is I have no idea how. Like, the only reason Fater survived here, Warlock, is because we faced the boss. So a bit of a lucky break for us there. Again, I'm channeling Holy Light because I keep forgetting that my eye level is bad, my haste is so bad, and like that spell just takes way too long to cast, honestly. Unless it's a proc, it's not even worth it. So there you saw explosive going off. People get low. I'm sort of panicking here. Not really panicking, but you know, I'm trying my best to bring them all back, and I'm not even in melee range, so I know I'll have less holy power. But we managed to pull through once again. I think at some point I used Aura Mastery there. I think it was actually for the bomb. I just noticed whenever I see like people going low, I usually pop these big defensives. It's better, you know, there's no reason to hold them, unless obviously it's control damage. Like, if you know the damage is coming, then you should pop defensive before, obviously, because damage reduction is most effective before the damage kicks in. So that's when you want to do it, obviously. Like, ideally, if I could have predicted that the bomb would go off, but I didn't even see it. But if I knew that it's gonna go off, I would have popped Aura Mastery before it went off, and obviously make the job much easier for me. But you know, I see people dropping low, I press my buttons and hope for the best, because way too many times people have died on me, and then I look at my bars and there's like, you know, like 3 defensives up, and it just feels bad, you know. Like, sure, it's not your fault most of the time, but it still feels bad, you know. Even as a healer, your job is to make sure that people survive as much as you can. And here, this is why that was a misplay. That's why I was talking about it so much, because I remember here I die. I'll talk about this a little bit because it's very interesting. Here we don't have see, I lay on hands Warlock, and here again I'm trying to cast Holy Light. That spell is gonna be the end of me, dude. It's a bad habit I have from Red, where this was the spell you would spam mostly. In current patch it's a good spell, but it very rarely has usage in these like very dynamic situations. The dynamic of the game right now is too fast. And if you look back at it, I have Healthstone, I have File. Very big misplay by me, very big. I had 2 instants to bring my HP up, and we would be fine. Like 1 less death. So far 2 deaths completely on me, and it's a bit annoying, but it's good because you can see, you know, that even when you make mistakes, even when you do a bad job, sometimes you can still time your keys. Depending on how big these mistakes are. This is why in general I think Fortified is more forgiving, because on Tyrannical, if you make a mistake, usually it's gonna be on boss, and then you lose your pride buff, you lose your bloodlust most of the time, and that just loses you way more time than Fortified. That's because Fortified deaths, as you can see, like for example here, they're just not that big of a deal. Sometimes, not always obviously, but sometimes they're just not. Much to talk about here. We just do this pull. This pull is relatively easy because you have Urn. I think Monk there should have double pulled into Urn, but he decides to play it safe, which is totally good call. Here I get a little bit unlucky. I get the overlap of 2 of them around me, but luckily I had Horse, so we're fine. Then we proceed to Ardenweald area.
Mojo, so careful now. She's tricky.
So here my Warlock friend put gate on, and I completely did not notice that that gate is going backwards, so I end up clicking it, taking damage. On a hierarchy I would be dead there. A really embarrassing mistake, but you know, it happens. I mean, it's really fucking bad, but it is what it is, you know. I'm only human, everybody makes mistakes, or in my case a lot of mistakes, but yeah, that was funny. And then Ardenweald area is, in my opinion, one of the more fun parts of this dungeon. I don't know why, I just like this idea of doing these big pulls that are constantly kited. I know a lot of people find it annoying. If you're DPS, you know, you're placing your Blizzard or your, you know, whatever else, Rain of Fire, I don't know what you guys use, like, you know, your positional abilities. I'm pretty sure that, you know, tanks constantly moving these big pulls is really frustrating, but as you can see, we actually do a really good job. Like, our Fire Mage popped off, our DK popped off, and even our tank popped off. Look at his deeps. He's dealing with 15k, 14k, 13k. Really good job. He did a really good job in terms of damage in this dungeon overall, and I think that's one of the main reasons why we were managed to time this key, to be honest with you guys. He just did a really good job on damage, which speeds up. I think every class, like, sorry, every role, even tanks and healers, as much as you can dealing damage, even if it's little, it always helps. It adds up over time, even if it's 400 DPS, 500 DPS, as long as, like, if you're a healer, every little bit counts. Here I didn't even do that good of a job with damage. I only did 1.3 on this pull. It's not that great for pull of that size, but I don't know, because it's Sanguine and I'm melee and I'm still getting used to it. I don't know if I could have done better in the first place. I tried my best, obviously, with my eye level. But the important thing is they did what they had to do, and we kept people alive, so that's what really matters. Here I'm saving Divine Toll and Aura Mastery for the upcoming Pride, because we just did a big pull and I don't think my DPS will have too much damage for the upcoming Pride, so I'm trying to save my abilities. I'm trying to, you know, they carried me on that pull, so I'm gonna carry them through the Pride. you know, we can take it slow because we have another big pull incoming after this with the urn. Usually people save their CDs for that to kind of like delete it very quickly, and that is a correct play. So I'm just, you know, I'm aware of that fact, so I'm trying to save as much as I can here for these two guys. They're gonna give us pride, so I can push my team, you know, through this pride. And I actually end up popping Divine Toll there, so I was just saying, you know, how aware I am, but you can still see, you know, getting used to a new class, getting used to new abilities. But as I said, this is one of the advantages of Kyrian Paladin. Over and over again, I keep saying it. It's not as flashy as Ventir, it's not as good as Ventir, but you have a 1 minute strong CD, and that's something that's really valuable. It is really valuable. I think it makes you a worse player though, in a sense where you start relying on Divine Toll a little bit too much. Here was a good moment, for example, to pop Divine Toll, but I decided to save it for the next big pull, I suppose, together with Wings, you know, because this pull can get dicey. Like if these guys don't melt, this pull is huge, and you do need to be very careful. Here I'm scared of pulling. I always end up pulling something because I don't know, healer aggro or whatever. Things usually end up going for me, and then while I'm dodging them, I end up ninja pulling something, and it's really annoying. So I'm just trying my best not to do anything and let this guy handle it, and it worked out good. Here sack maybe a little bit too early, but I just wanted to play it safe. Like these many enemies, they can kill him very quickly, so I just make sure I have my defensives up on him. And I think this pull went pretty smooth overall. Nobody died. We kited nicely around Sanguine. We did a good job here, and here we'll do a tiny mistake soon. I'll point it out, and I'll explain like importance of communication in M+ as well. I mean, explain. I'll talk about it a little bit. So watch this. Watch this. Wait, I think it should happen soon. Or did I mix up keys? It might have been another key. Might have been another key. I thought this is the key where we pull Dragon, and we had to invis pots unplanned, which is sketchy. But it seems no, it's not this one. I'm sorry. Okay, I baited you guys. I don't think it's this one. Or actually, hold up, maybe. Pause champ. Pause champ. Yeah, tank is kiting. He's not paying attention to what's behind him. It happens to the best of us. I personally have done it lots of times. I'm still not sure if this is the key. Here I go for a risky holy light again, baiting myself into these long casts that ended up like costing us sometimes. And yeah, tank pulls. Yeah, okay, so my memories, I'm not senile yet. We pulled this and we realized that our percentage is fucked at this point. It's not that bad. It's not that bad though. You'll see. We talk about here. We on Discord. I ask guys, because there's 3 of us. I ask them. Actually, there's 4 of us. So more than your average pug. But you know, ask your friends when these things happen. Don't panic. Think about what it is you can do to fix your mistake. So you know, don't write tank question mark. Obviously, he didn't pull this intentionally. And here he even does. I don't know if this was on purpose, but I think he once again walked into these guys on accident and pulled even more. And at this point, the only play for us, the only correct play is to invis. And I asked him, does he have invis? But he's busy tanking, so you know, give him some time to. I know that all the people that I'm on Discord with, which is the other 4, we all have invis pots ready. And we just talk about it. We said that correct. So yeah, I asked him again. Maybe a bit annoying because he's probably like clicking his buttons, but you know, I just want to make sure, because if we don't, you know, I want to, you know, start planning what else we're doing. And he said yeah. I don't know if you could see it there. I think my frames were over his character for a second. He said yes, and then I say skip after Pride then, and you'll see this ends up being totally fine. Sure, we lost some effectiveness off we lost some effectiveness of Pride, which is something I actually, it really annoys me when that happens, but once again, it ends up being totally fine. Here I'm kind of greedy, being sort of an asshole. I'm not moving because, you know, I'm a healer privileges, I suppose. So I just tell the guys to move, and we pop in these pots, and you'll see here something interesting. Actually, we got lucky a little bit. So actually, with our movement speed, I don't think we made it all the way down. We actually kind of did. 3, 2, 1. So yeah, we got a little bit lucky. So if patrol was here, we would be fucked, but patrol was just getting up and it misses us by a very little, and once again a little bit of luck. It wouldn't cost us the key, but it would have made it much harder because we would have to fight this boss completely without Prideful, and also that would just slow us down so much running back there. It's a very long running section. It's really, you know, it's really good, and we wouldn't be able to skip again because we just used potions, so we lucked out there quite a bit. Actually, now that I think about it, it might have cost us the key if that wasn't the case, but we, you know, a little bit of luck sometimes is needed, and we get it here. We get good RNG on the patrol movement. Actually, it's dumb saying it's RNG because it's not. Like, in reality, we should have checked. We should have known that, you know, there's patrol. Let's see it moving up before popping in this. But, you know, we were kind of in heat of the moment. We were rushing to time it. You know, we were even thinking we can maybe +2 it or whatever. So it's kind of like, you know, we're hyped and not really thinking super straight. And here the beautiful NVIDIA flickering. Thanks for that, Blizzard and NVIDIA. And yeah, we proceed to Muezala, or however you pronounce his name. I really don't know how to pronounce these names. Muezala, super complicated name. Bonsambi Damon. And we proceed into a boss fight. We talk here about who's gonna go where. Obviously, tank, healer, we go front right. We're gonna leave slow DK frontal position as well, which is, you know, the remaining one is front left. And then mage and warlock. Totally fine here, and then mage. And see, our warlock does here something that's very smart here. He places a portal so you can dodge balls. It's a good play, even though it's not super practical, but it might save you sometimes. So it's a good play. It's better to have that option than not. You'll see here we actually end up making quite a big mistake. Once again, I don't wanna, you know, I don't wanna flame the only person that's pug in this group. It's not that big of a deal, but he confirmed that, you know, he knows where to go, and you'll see now when the split reality happens, he just ends up going in the wrong portal, and something interesting happens there. We didn't manage to, you know, spoilers, and here we almost lose warlock, but luckily he's a warlock, you know, he healed himself quite a bit, and probably a health stone as well. And I was thinking about using lay on hands there, but I just didn't. And here comes Shatter Reality. I make sure to top everybody up. I was saving Holy Power for that. You need to be very aware of that as a healer. You want everybody to be full as much as you can. Do everything you can to make sure they're full. When I play Disc Priest, that's where I usually pop Rupture as well, and I just Rupture everybody. And see, I'm alone here, and I'm just an undergeared Holy Pala. Now, if I was Ventir and I had Ashen Hollow, I'm pretty sure this thing would melt, but as a Kyrian and as an undergeared guy, I try my best. I actually managed to do a lot of damage, a lot more than I ever thought I can do. I popped off quite hard and I almost get him, but it's just quite not enough, you know. It was close though, 20%, 25. Not too shabby, you know. This obviously cost us a little bit of time, but nothing of value was lost. We didn't +2 key anyway, even with that, so it's really not big of a deal. Once again, this is why I said I love uploading these videos, and I hope you guys find them useful, and they're useful for me to see the mistakes I'm making, for sure, and I hope somebody else will find them useful as well. If you're playing healer, you know, if you're DPSer, there's a lot more people to watch, simply because, you know, there's just more people playing DPS than healers and tanks. But I hope somebody will find these videos useful, and maybe, you know, maybe even if you're DPS, just seeing things from a healer perspective can sort of help you understand what we're able to do and what not. Like, one of the top advices I would give to somebody who's really looking to improve in this game and just get better overall and get better understanding of roles and the game in general is play different roles. Go tank, go DPS, go heal. You don't have to be good at it, just try and see, and you will have deeper understanding of what you need to watch out for. You will understand the importance of dodging dodgeable damage. I know that sounds weird, but whenever I play on Disc Priest and people don't like dodge avoidable damage, it makes me lose so much DPS. It makes the group overall much slower, since now I'm having to waste a lot of global casts to bring people up, and I might even use like a CD to save you from a mistake that never should have happened in the first place. Obviously, once again, I say mistakes will happen, so but just like don't be like, oh, I have healer, I'll take this anyway. Never do that. If you can avoid it without losing too much DPS, avoid it. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and make sure to like and subscribe.